What's up, crypto fam? It's Phantom. Taking a look at the market. The Bitcoin market looks, it's doing Bitcoin things. It's moving sideways for a long. We are, this trend line's been holding up exactly as it's supposed to. And like I've mentioned on stream, as long as this trend line continues to hold, um, the price continues to hold above this as far as the weekly close is concerned, I remain bullish. I mentioned on stream yesterday, and I'll bring it up again on why I think this price action is bullish. This sideways price action is painful for a lot of people because they're afraid of a big dip down. And it's entirely possible, so it's not unjustified. That said, there's a ton of people on Twitter, YouTube saying that we're crashing to 28K. We will see 28K before we go back up. We will see 19,000 before we go back up. Being in this market for as long as I have, it's best to kind of cut out the noise and just follow the trend of the market. So if this trend line hasn't broken since 2020, I think it's a pretty strong indicator to use. Obviously, not financial advice. Everyone should do their own research, but holding this long over time after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times it's been hit. It's been an incredible hold. So, you could have made a bunch of swing trades just buying at this trend line, selling at this resistance level. It would have worked out, a half dozen times just in the past few weeks. We are pinching a little bit tighter between this resistance block and the support line. So I do think that, bullishness is in our future. And I have a couple news articles that will explain that. I got stopped out on my ATOM, my Cosmos position, but I did buy back in at this price at the $23 area, just because I'm holding on strong that I think the market is going to start swinging direction towards the upside. One of the largest indicators of that is the Fear and Greed Index. We're chilling in extreme fear. A lot of people are fearful, even though the market's just been moving sideways. We haven't had anything punishing yet, but this continued sideways movement and the fear that's in the market makes it more painful than it actually is. We've had a drop down of $3,000–4,000, and everyone's running scared, and they're selling off or selling at a loss because their fear is that everybody on Twitter is going to be right, and we're going to dip down to the 28K level, and they want to get wrecked. So one of the big things that I believe is bullish that lines up with what I'm recommending is the exchange balances are still plummeting. They've seen 4-year lows. So a ton of Bitcoin still being bought off exchanges, but it's not being bought to sell. It's being bought to hold long term. A lot of these companies are buying a ton of Bitcoin. Granted, Michael Saylor is one of the big ones. But there's a lot of institutions that are not going out and being named that are buying up huge handfuls of Bitcoin and then just storing them because they're in this for the long haul. They're in this for the next, 5-10 years when Bitcoin's, valued, probably closer to the $500,000 mark if we get up that high in the next 10 years. So they're in this for the long term. So I think this lines up exactly with where we are in the market. This article kind of reiterates what I've been saying, why ongoing sideways movement is more painful than Black Thursday. If this is what could still be ahead, then why exactly is sentiment so bearish? For one, bearish sentiment is often the driver of a wave 5. At this point in the trend, fundamentals are no longer improving at the same pace that pulled the market. Participants' profit taking is increasing. Wave 5 are FOMO driven. So how does that FOMO develop? By having a market on the wrong side of the trade. Due to overly bearish sentiment, such a situation leads to participants chasing entries as price soars higher. Bearish sentiment is a result of positioning. Bears have either sold, are short, or expect more downside. Sentiment is so bearish not because Bitcoin has seen horrific new lows like Black Thursday. Sentiment is so bearish because it's taken almost twice as long to go exactly nowhere. The sideways movement is freaking people out, and they're kind of bailing on their positions. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, it's too early. I think we have a long, strong wave to the upside that is coming. Granted, the sideways movement is painful, but it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So this fear and greed index dipping down into the extreme fear territory is what gets me excited. The last news article that I have is pretty cool. Cardano integrates with on-chain KYC in compliance with regulations. So this is good and bad, right? The good part about this is if you don't know what KYC is, it's know your customer. So it's a personal identification, basically like when you sign up for a Coinbase or a Binance, that they want passport picture, they want your information or your demographic information, your personal information to verify your identity. And once your identity is verified, then you can move on with transactions on that particular exchange. Why this is a good thing for Cardano. Cardano having KYC is going to bring in it's following regulation, right? So it's going to bring in a bunch of industrial or industry type of market, institutional investors, and this is coming at a time when it's just now building or expanding its marketplace for people to do their own type of NFT development or DeFi projects. So you can think of this a lot like Binance Labs, or all the projects that were built on Solana, things like that. Cardano is now a name in that game. Why this is bad? It kind of goes against everything that Bitcoin's about. Bitcoin's about the anonymity and nobody having to know all this information. And if your information has to be verified in order for you to integrate, then that goes against what Bitcoin was fundamentally about. They did mention in this article, though, that their goal is to do the KYC and then provide something on blockchain just to say that a particular user was verified and not release any of their personal information. That said, it's still a little bit scary to me because, if they get pushed from a government entity, the personal information, I don't know if they're going to wipe it once you're verified, but just knowing that they have that type of information on file in some type of database somewhere located, the government can go after it. The government can go put their hands on it, and that doesn't follow anything that anybody that's in Bitcoin for the fundamental reasons of Bitcoin isn't excited about any part of KYC. Outside of it bringing in institutions. So it's a good as far as the project growing. I hope they get to a place that the information is wiped once verified, but I don't know if we'll ever get there. So this is bearish / bullish. I kind of can go both ways on it. So I think Bitcoin's going to continue to try and ride this trend line, and we may even dip below it on Saturday, right? We still have all of Saturday and Sunday to get through. We still have almost 2 full days. So the only time I will flip towards the bearish side is if we close below this trend line that's held up since 2020. Just one last note that I've noticed, I brought up on the last stream, but I think it's worth bringing up again. The other times this has happened, here, 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 and here, where we printed a red candle on the weekly, a red candle on one of the indicators that I use. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 of those 5 times have led to bullish runs up almost as soon as the next weekly candle started. So I'm hoping that, that's an 80%. 80% of the time it works 100% of the time, and that math is flawless. So, maybe this is our red candle before we, start strong momentum to the upside. As long as we hold this weekly level on the weekly close basis, I'm going to remain bullish. So that's my thoughts. We're dipping down to, looks like 39K again, so we're probably going to test this level another time, which is fine. Like I said, as long as we don't close below it on the weekly level, I am going to remain in my Cosmos long, and I'm going to remain bullish on Bitcoin. So until then, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. I hope you have an even better Saturday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, peace.